once these protests and, frankly, burglaries, trespass, vandalism, etc., and intimidation of Jewish students in particular, once those things have died down for several weeks or indeed the months of the summer, that people will just say, oh, well, let's just try and forget about that and get back to normal life. But we won't get back to normal life unless students and agitators are made accountable for what they do and are punished in a way which is a deterrent to others.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering this week and where the story's going next. I'm Jim Antle, and I'm joined today by Editor-in-Chief Hugo Gurdon. Hugo, we've seen these mass protests at college campuses all across the country against Israel, arguably for Hamas. What are your thoughts on what the state of things are there?
Well, I think you're right to raise that issue about, against Israel, arguably for Hamas. I think there's no question that if you listen to the rhetoric of a lot of these people, they are essentially supporters of Hamas terrorism. It is sometimes euphemistically referred to as pro-Palestinian protests, and indeed there are Palestinian flags, but you also see the flags of Hamas and Hezbollah. It's perfectly clear that the students and agitators, and there are plenty of agitators, are there demonstrating in favor of what they call resistance to Israel, which is essentially they want Israel expunged from the map by any means necessary. These have been, frankly, disgraceful. Rules have been broken, crimes have been committed, and they don't represent the majority opinion in these, either in the nation or indeed in these institutions of higher education. One of the things that you've also seen throughout this period of weeks, indeed going on months, of agitation is students who want to get to their classes being prevented from doing so by these demonstrators wearing their keffirs and dressing up like Hamas terrorists. So, frankly, there's nothing redeeming about these protests, and the protesters who have broken rules or committed crimes should be punished accordingly.
How confident are you that they will be punished accordingly?
Not confident at all. If there's anything that we've learned over the last 4 years or so, since the nationwide riots following the death of George Floyd, is that authorities who have lost authority are constantly trying to appease demonstrators, and they have in the process legitimized vandalism, theft, intimidation, burglary, all kinds of violence. I can imagine that with the summer semester now coming to an end, graduation taking place, that university authorities will want to sort of scuttle away for the summer and hope that everyone forgets about this.
Right.
But it just will invite the same kind of behavior again and re-legitimize, turbocharge the legitimization of kinds of behavior that we should not tolerate. It should not be tolerated. I don't want to say not tolerated, tolerated especially, because it is actually minorities against the wishes of the majority of people. But that makes it even more necessary to recognize this for what it is, which is criminal disruption, often rule-breaking disruption. And the only way to deal with this is to punish it condignly. And people, I think that students who have behaved and broken the rules should be expelled from their schools. Outside agitators who've committed crimes should be prosecuted.
And this past week we saw for the first time authorities really trying to take some of these campuses back. In some cases with the help of local law enforcement, other cases campus security.
Right. Yes, there did come a point where the universities realized that they reached their breaking point, and that might have been partly because they saw their reputations being severely damaged. They lost their patience with this. But that doesn't mean to say that it will be a long-term decision, or it will be a decision for long-term discipline. The worry is that once students disperse for the summer, once these protests and, frankly, burglaries, trespass, vandalism, etc., and intimidation of Jewish students in particular, once those things have died down for several weeks, or indeed the months of the summer, that people will just say, oh, well, let's just try and forget about that and get back to normal life. But we won't get back to normal life if unless students and agitators are made accountable for what they do and are punished in a way which is a deterrent to others.
Thank you, Hugo.
Thank you.
You can read Hugo and the rest of our team's coverage at washingtonexaminer.com.